What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking Daredevil Born Again. We're talking Star Wars, Tales of the Underworld. We're talking Superman. We're talking Doomsday. We're talking Thunderbolts. We're talking Fantastic Four First Steps. We're talking all things that we learned at CinemaCon. Well, maybe. Not everything. But a few things, that we want to talk about. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I am fan-freaking-tastic. I didn't have time to talk to you about this before we started, but did you see my Bears sign Case Keenum today? Exciting.
Whoa.
Yeah, watch out for him, huh?
Get room on your trophy case for the Super Bowl of Vincent D'Onofrio.
Super Bowl, yeah. Damn. And Doug's like, well, as long as they have fun.
I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's good or bad.
He's a solid backup quarterback, so I think it's a good signing.
He won the Stanley Cup.
That doesn't help.
He plays well when people are hurt.
Oh,
yeah, in limited appearances.
Okay. So he'd be good at hockey?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And this week's episode, I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't as good to me, but I guess we'll go over that in a moment.
Ooh.
And I will
this will be interesting. It was really good to me.
Yeah, tell us how you're doing, Doug.
Well, David, let me tell you, I am outstanding. Boy, what a busy week. I have had a lot going on. I tried to. This is the age that I finally reached where I'm done with work for the day and I'm thinking, all right, here's what I want to do. I have to go to CVS. I have to go pick up a few things. No, I think I'd rather take a nap. Crash completely out.
That is a good strategy.
I wake up at 7:45 and I run downstairs. I'm like, I gotta get. We're gonna stream soon.
I love it.
I was gonna call you Boomer running to CVS to do a few things, but now you're like a cool millennial. You're taking a nap after work till 7:45. That's all right.
Is that a cool millennial move? Taking a nap after work?
I don't know.
Oh God. Oh man, but no, I've been looking forward to talking about this. I was kind of surprised that we didn't have any chatter about this in our group chat, because boy, this episode kind of blew me away, and I can't wait to talk about it. So without further ado, Keith, how are you doing?
I am tremendous, and much like you, Doug, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was extremely well done. And the reason I don't think there was much chatter is I didn't watch it Tuesday night. I was reading to my son and fell asleep, and I didn't get a chance to really watch it until last night. So I was like, they probably already watched it. We'll just talk about it tomorrow.
I honestly, I thought you guys had beat me to it because I didn't watch it until closer to, it was almost 11 Tuesday night, and I finally turned it on because I had a lot of other stuff going on, and I was like, all right, well, I better watch it so that way nothing gets spoiled for me. I know how the internet works, and I know Screen Crush or one of them, they're going to just ruin it by putting something up there. Heck, for anybody that still hasn't seen it, if you look at our thumbnail, that probably spoils it for you too, but isn't it normally there's a 48-hour rule for shows?
Yeah. That's usually good. A lot of these other big channels, you're right. They spoil it 10 minutes after it ends.
Immediately.
Yes. Yes. Oh, who was it? Heavy Spoilers used to do that for Last of Us. It would air, and then not even an hour later, he already had his breakdown video up.
Weren't they the one? There was somebody who did it right when the show started. Right after the show started, there was a post about it.
You're right. There was somebody who did. Oh, what was that for too? Oh, I don't even remember now. But yeah, no, you're right, Dave. I remember that.
And that can be very annoying.
I mean, can be, yeah.
What if you're at work and you just I don't know, and you miss the show, but all of a sudden you're inundated with that, and before you can even do anything, why would anybody watch it? That's what I'm saying.
I did hear something interesting, and I am curious what you two think about this. Speaking of spoiling things, apparently there is chatter among the nerdosphere about how long it has to be, like how long it has to be before you have to start putting spoiler warnings again. Because somebody had mentioned that they had done a video where they had talked about Bruce Willis being dead at the end of Sixth Sense, and while that would have been perfectly fine, around the couple of 5, 10 years when it first came out. Now it's been so long since that movie came out. There's an entire generation of people that probably have never seen it, and it's now going to spoil that ending for them. So there was like some discussion online, some chatter online about, you know, once a certain period has passed, when do you have to start putting a spoiler warning up for, a movie with a big twist again?
I would say every movie with a big twist, you would need to put up a spoiler
But like,
alert.
what time frame?
I would say always, because then just in
Always?
case the people haven't seen it, you don't want to ruin nothing. Some
It's
people
funny.
like to get ruined, but I don't.
Like 3 or 4 years after, what was that movie called? Sixth Sense came out. I was watching Conan O'Brien, and Andy Richter, no relation, was said like, "Oh, Bruce Willis is dead in it or whatever." Conan's like, "Andy, you can't just say that on the show." And he's like, "That movie's been out on DVD for like 2 years. If you haven't seen it, you're probably not gonna see it." But I agree more with Dave. You know what? Big twist, spoiler, anything like that. You should always, no matter how far after, because you never know who's, like you were talking about Sixth Sense. There's a lot of people who, weren't even born 10 years until after it was out, already on DVD and everything else. They've probably never seen it, and they may want to see it. And if you see that movie knowing the end, it's less impactful. If you watch it not knowing it, it's like, holy cow. Then you watch it a second time and you catch all the little references to it.
Yes.
And it's even better that way.
Like The Usual Suspects, my favorite movie of all time.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah. We will not spoil that here.
All right.
Man.
Should we talk a little Daredevil Born Again, episode
I
7?
think we should.
Art for art's sake. Because we get Angela tells the police, "Hey, I was saved by Daredevil,"
Yeah.
and that gets to our little buddy, the Kingpin.
It gets to Mayor Fisk, who is not too. I love that he's like more concerned about Matt Murdock dressing up as Daredevil again than he is about this psycho serial killer that they found like 130 different strands of DNA in the blood that he's painting. He's painting with people's blood, and he's like, Daredevil has returned. He's back.
A man going around in a devil costume.
I like how everyone's trying to cushion the blow with him, too. They're like,
Right.
we don't know for sure. His own people are saying, well, we don't know if it's him for sure.
Well, because they have to. They know how violent he'll get. And it's like, I think everybody is like constantly walking on eggshells around him because it's like, yeah, he says he's, put all of that life behind him. And as we find out later on, that's not true at all. Well, he says he's put that life behind him and he's a straight and narrow. He's, going to be a politician now. And it's like, yeah, but he could probably still have us be killed, huh?
You know that rumor about him smashing a guy's head in a car door for like 5
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah, just a rumor though, right?
I think it's true. He's got anger problems.
Hey, you know that rumor about his adoptive daughter shooting him in the face? What do you think that is?
She must be crazy.
She must be. Yeah, that's it.
Well, that he never really knew her. He didn't know her, and he didn't know. She worked in his cabinet in a very, distant role.
Really distancing himself. From...
Yeah, he really never knew her. So.
Oh, and then I love how like his response as well. He ruined my business. I got all these men, all these hard-working men locked up, and they were too afraid to return to work.
We turned working class men into millionaires. It was a
Blue-collar
flawless plan, and he ruined it.
I was laughing, so I'm like, you were doing so much like mental acrobatics to try and justify everything that you've done.
But he truly believes it. I mean, it's not mental acrobatics, because he's like, I can't believe he ruined it. You know, most people are like, you mean he broke up your criminal organization?
Right,
He
exactly.
stopped hardworking men from earning a living and
You
murdering
mean
people?
criminals, thugs, people who are getting locked up for murder. Okay, sure.
And we find out that, well, Detective Kim kind of reports to Fisk. They think it is a young man named Bastian, not the living sentinel from the X-Men, but, you know, a young man, Bastian Cooper, who, like we all knew from the one episode, he was being treated by
Of course.
Dr. Glenn. And
Now, here's my question.
things take a turn. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
My question is, and I'm just asking because I can't remember. Have we seen him being treated by her before?
We have not.
No, we just saw him go and get his book signed by her, and then he had asked for a card because he was interested in being treated by her.
That's right. That's right. And that was one of my pet peeves on this show. Well, go ahead and finish your what you were going to say, and then I'll follow up.
I was just going to say, and while in session, things take a turn for the creepy. And he starts, I have you to thank for my true self. And, you know, his nose is bleeding and he starts doing art with it. And,
Finger painting with it.
and I think Heather figures it out. And
You think?
he basically asks her, I know what you're thinking right now. Can you get to the door before I grab you? And I was like, okay, this has been uncomfortable here. And not the good uncomfortable, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. This is the, oh man.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh man. No respect.
I had a question for you two about that. So, at what point do you think she finally had it figured out? Because I initially thought the first time that I watched through it, I'm like, oh, it was probably like as soon as she pointed out that he's got the nosebleed, and he's like, oh, okay, you know, okay, yes, the dude obsessed with blood. Obviously, I know who this is. But now, you know, I rewatched part of it again today, and I'm starting to reconsider. I think maybe earlier on in their conversation, I think she had it pegged pretty early on.
I think she kind of figured it out when he was talking about you brought out my true self. And I think that's when the gears in her head started clicking and putting two and two together.
Yeah, whenever somebody starts talking like that, and they seem kind of a little bit off, you know that whatever they're leading to is not something good. And you could see her start to sweat before.
Oh yeah.
She starts sweating.
She started really tensing up too.
Yeah, and that's when she knew. My only problem with it was it happened so fast. I mean, the whole thing, Muse's whole situation happened so fast. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer to play out. I guess they got more to do with just the Kingpin and Daredevil, but I thought it'd be kind of cool if they were both chasing the same thing at the same time, throwing barbs at each other. You know, for the rest of what two more shows.
That is
I thought
something
that-
that that is something that like superhero shows and movies are really bad about. I've noticed is they don't let their villains stay alive, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's like they're in such a hurry to kill them off. That was one of my biggest pet peeves about the original Spider-Man movies. I know, oh, boo, Doug, light the torches. How dare you not like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies? But yeah, no, that was like one of my... We've got Spider-Man's ultimate villain, the Green Goblin, here to kill him off in the very first movie. Then everybody praises Spider-Man 2, saying it's like the work of art. It's the best Spider-Man movie that to ever exist. But then you also kill off Doc Ock. It's like, these are all like big top-tier Spider-Man villains. And if you wanted to make this an ongoing franchise, don't kill them off.
All right, Batman
so-
kills the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, this is supposed to, you get them locked up, leave it open for more confrontations. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Dave. Really did. I was hoping that this would just be a situation where they would incapacitate him, and then maybe we'd see him running around in season 2 or something. Like, I think one of my favorite superhero moments that you've got your finger up.
Just want to let you know, Muse has been confirmed for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. I have a theory about that.
It's got to be someone else then.
Maybe. Well, let's continue talking, and I'll talk about my theory here in a little bit.
All right. Well, where I think it started to take a turn for the better. Like, it seemed like somebody had finally figured it out. Like, oh, we're not supposed to kill them off. Was actually the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight trilogy. First movie, they don't kill off
Scarecrow.
Sandman. Scarecrow. They don't kill off Scarecrow. In fact, we even see him causing trouble in the second movie, in Dark Knight. That's great. I love that. That's what you should do for superhero movies, especially ones that there are going to be sequels, or there's going to be, further. You allow them to stay alive in the world, so there's more confrontations. I think it's great, because now Batman has learned from previous fights. He knows what to do, and had unfortunately, the actor not passed away, we could have seen Joker appear in Dark Knight Rises. And in fact, that was probably originally the plan.
According to insiders, it was the plan, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame that, this iteration of Muse, I'll say that in case, we do have another person pick up the mantle in season 2. It'd be a shame to waste this iteration of it, because it was a very interesting change up. This is a very demented individual that's it's sort of the catalyst for both Kingpin and Daredevil. It gets Matt Murdock to put his suit back on again, and it gets Kingpin to form his dime store Thunderbolts.
Yes, yeah. And I do think the reason that they killed him, which I was pretty shocked by, because in the comics, he's not killed, he's apprehended. Right. So I was fully expecting him to be apprehended, and then when Heather shot him, I was like, okay, I did not see that coming. Good play. But you got to think that the talk at the diner that they had, when he said, if you start going back to your old activities, there will be repercussions. So I do think they possibly killed him off so they could focus on the repercussions that are going to be coming, which we know that the anti-vigilante task force has already been assembled. And I do think we're going to get our good friend Frank Castle back next episode. And I think it's going to be very Daredevil versus the Kingpin sort of optimized or centric. Very, very, they wanted to tell this story of these two. They didn't want additional plot threads running around to distract, possibly. They wanted it focused in on the Daredevil versus the Kingpin.
And, it really does make the most sense.
Yeah.
Looking at it from the outside is how they, when they did the reshoots and they're trying to fit the reshoots into what they already shot, that's got to be tough. Adapting the story like they did on the very first episode to the, whatever they wanted to add with the reshoots. There was clearly a difference in the story from what they originally went with. Right?
Well, the first episode was almost entirely new.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then there was that one episode that was completely uncut from the very first filming.
Yep.
Gotta imagine piecing those two different kind of stories, because it's kind of a different story, but it's a layered story so that they can put it in over the top of the other story and it still works. You know what I mean? So that couldn't have been easy to do.
No, it's a good foundation. Good foundation.
they put in the work to make sure the additional shooting and changes would fit well with the story. I think they did a great job. I'm really enjoying it. Then we figure out, we get, once they both kind of figure out where Muse's lair is, or I shouldn't say with them both, once the cops figure out where Muse's lair is, they kind of go there and are sifting through the thing with our old cop buddy that needs fast hands to avoid black eyes. Daredevil shows up. he gets a billy club to the face when he comes back to look.
Dude, I love Matt's like initial reaction. Like he didn't mean to do that. It was just like he was just like, oh, I heard something of it. And as soon as he did it, he was like, shit, shouldn't have done that. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Hope you're okay. I gotta go.
He's like in a supervillain lair. He senses something. Of course, he's whipping a billy club. I'm sorry, it's a cop. Oh man. But
Okay,
they both.
Did you guys think it was a little cheesy that he was able to feel the painting and it just so happened to be so good that it matched up to her face?
A little bit.
No,
I don't know about
dude,
cheesy, but I was
what
kind
it
of like.
was,
To me, it seemed it was oh god, maybe cheesy, isn't it? A bit of a loophole, almost like it was cheap. Like they didn't know another way to get Matt there, and so they're like, we need some sort of MacGuffin. Okay, I know. The painting is going to be so portrait accurate that he's going to feel it, and it's going to feel just like the way he felt her face. Which, no, dude, her face was in 3D. That's two different. No, but whatever. It's a comic book show. Let it go, Doug.
you have to suspend some disbelief. It's okay.
Right.
It almost would have been better to have him, because he was obviously lurking up in the ceiling somewhere when the cops were going through everything. If they would have just been like, does this look like Dr. Glenn or something? You know, have someone who'd seen her or something, had been a patient, and him like, what? And like take off. But I did the same thing when he was looking at him, like, okay, are they trying to imply his heightened senses can see that this blood smear, it looks like his girlfriend?
Right.
And then they're flashing
that makes
back.
it sound even worse.
I know. In case we didn't understand, they're flashing back to the morning when he's like,
Right.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
But I was like you. I easily let things go. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
They're both heading to her office now.
Right.
And the whole time.
That's at the end of the day, that's our goal. We're trying to get them both in the same spot. All right, great. And he's got to save his girlfriend.
The whole time I thought he was going to show up and they were already gone. It was going to be one of those tricks because, you know, they're doing the frames at the same time and you're like, oh, and I'm like, they're going to be gone. He's going to show up there and like the anti-vigilante task force is going to show up. They're going to fight. They're going to be like, wait, where did Muse and, you know, Dr. Glenn go?
And then drag it on for a couple more episodes.
Yeah, at least one more. I thought for sure.
Showdown.
But
Well, I don't think Muse would play with his toy. He seems like all he wants is the blood.
No,
Well-
they said that, and he was like, he was implying that this was the last thing that he was gonna do. Like, the police said that this was some sort of, you know, like murder suicide thing that he had planned, and even it seemed like that's what he was saying to the doctor, and that's why when the police showed up, he's like, no, it's too soon. It was like he knew that this was the end, but he wasn't ready for it to be the end quite yet.
Yeah, he didn't make his masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yep. And we see Daredevil bust through the window, which is very reminiscent of Daredevil number 12, volume 5, number 12. Or no, 13, where he finds out that Muse has blind spot. He busts through the window like that. I was like, oh, that's a cool little reference back to the
Keith,
Dark Art comics.
If somebody wanted to know a little bit more about that run, is there anywhere where they could maybe, you know, get a breakdown, like a short, in a nutshell breakdown of those comics?
It's funny you asked, Doug. Excellent timing, because we have been, all week, we have been uploading Daredevil Dark Art, the introduction to Muse YouTube shorts in our back issue breakdowns, our award-winning
Really?
back issue breakdowns.
Those
So-
are
And
awards
I
that
can
we
find
can't
these on
correct.
youtube.com?
You can. Not Your Status Quo, shorts. I got them all in a nice little playlist for everybody. And issue 13 or 14, the finale of the Dark Art arc. And I said art arc. Sounds like I'm saying the same word twice there.
Aardvark?
Aardvark
Art.
is tomorrow. So you could, tomorrow morning, well, middle afternoon maybe, get on our YouTube channel and see the entire Dark Art arc in our back issue breakdowns.
Nice.
And remember, we don't tell you everything that happens in the issue, just enough so you'll go out and read it on your own.
Just to whet the appetite a bit.
Yes, yes.
It's like a trailer for a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that's a good call,
What?
Dave. I like that.
I like that.
And we're going to start doing teaser trailers for books. No, I'm just kidding.
And then we're also going to start
teasers.
using AI to generate those teaser trailers
Fake teaser trailers.
for books that haven't released yet.
Just don't use XAI. Whatever you do, don't use XAI.
I really, since we've been doing this, I don't know if you guys get this. People will send me like, oh my God, look, it's a trailer for Secret Wars. Do you think it's true? They haven't even started filming yet. There is not a chance this is true. Oh,
No.
yeah, that makes sense. It's like, use some critical thinking, people.
It shouldn't have taken me to tell you that. You should have been able to think of that on your own. Come on.
And I did.
Well, could
I
it
didn't
be a
get Secret.
kid?
The what?
Maybe it's a kid. Maybe it's just a kid.
Yeah. But someone sent me the other day, and I'm not going to say it's our cameraman from our At the Theater reviews,
Uh-oh.
sent me Batman Part 2 trailer. I'm like, just so you know, they have not started filming this yet. This is not true. And he's like, oh, it looked cool. You're right, it did. But it's fake. And those
What's his
channels are
nose?
starting to get shut down and demonetized on YouTube.
Good.
Yes.
I forgot the name of the actor for Batman right now.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. He said he's getting frustrated waiting to film this thing.
Well, there was a
By the time
rumor.
it comes
There
out,
was
it's what, 5 years between movies?
there was a rumor yesterday because CinemaCon is going on, and we'll talk about a lot of the stuff we heard, after we finished Daredevil Born Again. But people were like, I hear Robert Pattinson is at CinemaCon. They're going to announce him as the DCU's Batman tonight. They did not.
I don't think they plan on it.
No, James Gunn and Peter Safran have both said, we love his work. We love the Batman.
But that's
Matt Reeves'
got to be a
Batman.
different universe.
That is its own thing. He is not going to be the DCU's Batman. So we're getting a new Batman. I did think there might, because he's like, oh, we're going to talk about Superman and a couple other fun things. And I was like,
And a
are they
couple
announcing
other
Batman? They didn't. But back to this. So we have Daredevil fighting Muse a little bit. They're giving it as good as they're getting it. He's a Taekwondo master who killed his master at some point. But
Taekwondo master, even though he repeatedly said, and I almost wonder if this was like a lie to like make her feel a bit more comfortable. Oh yeah, no, I don't do that. I never liked it. I really hated doing it. I haven't done Taekwondo in years.
But
I was forced into it.
we get them fighting. Daredevil ends up, he's going after her like he's going to kill her, and he basically shoots his grappling hook into him, pulls him down. They end up fighting a little bit more, and Heather ends up grabbing his gun and putting like 3 or 4 bullets into him, dropping him onto that canvas that he had set up on the floor. Heather's not doing well. Daredevil kind of helps her out, stabilizes her a bit, and then right as the AVTF bust in, Daredevil's gone, Heather is stabilized, Muse is dead, and of course, the first thing Mayor Fisk does is shut down all the stories that Daredevil saved the day, and that it was actually his anti-vigilante task force.
That was such a politician move when he goes in there and he's like, but you actually, your men you got in here, and you were the heroes. You said, and you could tell he was like, in just for a brief second, you could tell that officer was feeling a bit uncomfortable about lying about this, but then he was like, oh, I remember who I'm talking to. Yeah, you got it, boss. All right, I'm heading out.
And
We're
that's how he
heroes.
got to his position. That's how that cop got to the position he's in from doing that.
Yep.
You know what I really thought? I thought he was going to accuse publicly, although he would know it wouldn't be true in real life, because Daredevil doesn't use guns. I thought he was going to blame Daredevil publicly for shooting him and saying, see, this is what vigilantes do. We got to get him. That's what I thought I was going to do. But I was wrong. Nope, I wasn't wrong. In some dimension, that's how it happened.
Yep.
And we're never wrong on this channel.
We're
so
always
that's
right. That's right.
That's right. I want to back up just for a minute and talk about just before Daredevil comes in. we need to heap some praise on Margarita Levieva, who plays the doctor, because that was some expert acting. Like, I mean, that pulled me in. That moment when she was like, it looked like a person actually having a real life panic attack and, scared out of their mind, that this person is at the moment cutting into them and about to drain their blood to paint with. And so I'm watching that scene and I'm like, okay, that is some top tier acting. Good for her. That was really darn good. Like,
And
just the little whimpers, the cries, the shaking and everything. It was like, I don't know what she had to do to like psych herself up and get her into the moment, but I mean, excellent.
I was like, how many times did she say please?
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, she was.
I don't know if
She's
this
begging
is
for her
true.
life.
Don't know if this is true, but I read that she said she used not being invited on Not Your Status Quo for an interview yet as her inspiration for that panic attack. She was worried
That was such a deep trauma that she was able to pull from that, huh?
and we'll have you on anytime. You're a tremendous actress. You're welcome anytime. We do see Don Blake, not Thor Don Blake, but hey, Gooma Bobby, Tony
Don Blake,
Soprano.
you stepped on the gas instead of the brake.
The what?
Don Blake, you stepped on the gas instead of the brake. No. That's what his tombstone reads. Never mind.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know where that's from, but yes.
No,
the
neither do
guy-
I.
But, he's given BB Urich crap saying, you better change that up, He started feeling very mobster lieutenant-y in that scene. I was like, hey, you want to have a great rest of your life? Or you want to start having a miserable life?
I love how
decision's
he's
yours.
using like surfer talk, like kind of mixed in, like, I'd be so stoked if you made the right decision. That'd be super tight.
It's like he's learning how to be a mob boss.
Oh man.
He's got to get the jargon down. He's got to get, the right thing. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is going to start. This is his second mistake, I think. I think this is the thing that either two things is going to happen with little Donnie Blake. One, Kingpin is going to continue to see him. Oh man, he has my back at all costs. He's loyal. I'm going to keep him. Or this is going to backfire again, and she's going to write, I was, muscled by Mayor Fisk's
Depends.
junior
Did
guy.
she record that conversation?
Right. And we don't know that. And we'll find out. But it's either going to go one or two ways. It's either going to work and she's going to suppress the story and Kingpin's going to be like, yes, or it's going to come out that he did this on behalf of Kingpin or Mayor Fisk. And it's going to blow up and it's going to end badly for him because you don't make two mistakes and probably live very long when you're working for Wilson Fisk.
And he had to seriously, I mean, just lick that boot clean in order to get away with his first mistake, because non-mayor Kingpin, that would have been all it took.
Yeah. You wouldn't have stood around and listened to his sob story. You'd have been like, where's that car door? That's what he would have been.
Where's that car door? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get you an axe. Why do I need an axe? Oh, you'll find out.
Let's
You're gonna meet my
go for a
friend Adam.
ride.
You're gonna meet my friend Adam.
Oh no!
And then we see.
I'd really appreciate if you would meet me for dinner.
We'll get to that in a minute. But we see a recovering Dr. Glenn talking to Matt Murdock and saying, I swear I heard Daredevil call me by my name. And he's like,
He was high.
man, I don't think so. He saw your name on your desk. Your nameplate.
Yeah.
Why does
All right.
his
Anything,
why does
something.
his 3-day growth look exactly like yours, Matt?
Right.
What?
I don't know what that looks like.
Theory.
How dare you say that to me? I'm blind.
Right.
I've got a theory about that.
Okay, let's hear it.
So back when they're originally talking, like just before he leaves for the day to go to work, and as she's getting ready and everything, she's pointing out that he's he seems to be holding things in. He's not expressing himself. He's keeping secrets from her. And as a therapist, she's noticing all these things, and she's finally expressed to him, like, whatever you're doing, it's not healthy. We're in a relationship. We've both told each other that we love one another. You need to figure this shit out, essentially. Like, you need to, whether it's, talk to me or talk to somebody else, you got to talk to somebody. You can't keep holding this stuff in. And the entire time, Matt is doing his, normal fake smile that he always does whenever he's. And I remember this from the original Daredevil series on Netflix, that whenever he was like annoyed at a situation where somebody's trying to tell him, hey, here's this thing you should do with your life to make it better, he seems immediately irritated. Like, dude, I just want to go and beat people up. Why can't you just lay off?
Are you doing anything to let out stress? I got something.
But I think here's my theory. After that, because she's smart, clearly. This is why I brought up like the whole how soon do you think she figured out
such a
Muse.
woke show, having smart women.
And she's a professional. She's like a doctor.
So how much you want to bet she already knows that Matt is Daredevil, and maybe that was her way of just trying to, oh yeah, he seemed to know my name. Kind of strange that Daredevil was there, kind of looked and sounded like you and knew my name. I'm waiting for like the next episode or, the final episode where she reveals like, yeah, dude, I've known. Come on. You're not that good at keeping secrets.
Did you ever meet my brother, Mike Murdock? He's blind too. Hold on. He's coming in. Hey.
Also, he's really super good at fighting, and he's hot. He's pretty sexy, if I do say so.
He's a ninja. He's actually a ninja.
And we can never be in the same room at the same time. We had a falling out.
Oh, jeez.
But I do think you're right. I think she's already figured it out, too. I think she knows that he is the bruises, everything else, him disappearing at night.
Yeah.
She's not dumb. She definitely has probably put two and two together. And I really just think she was gauging his reaction when she said that.
That's what I thought.
Wait, did I mess up? Did I say her name? But we'll have to wait for next week's episode or 2 weeks from now to see if that really falls into place. And then we got Vanessa texting Luca saying he's by himself at this thing. He shows up to take care of Wilson Fisk, and Cashman's waiting there and blasts him.
Oh my God. I knew something like that was going to happen. Like, I figured it wasn't going to go his way. I did not expect for Fisk to be sitting there just so calm. And that, obviously they had this planned out. Obviously Vanessa and Wilson are working together. Why wouldn't? I mean, of course, this is exactly how it's going to happen. But it was just such a perfectly shot scene. Just didn't flinch, didn't move, just sitting there cutting his food and, eating and commenting about the food and how good it is. And
my first reaction was, why does he have his back to the door? That's a terrible...
Oh,
it was all set to
to
make Luca feel comfortable going in there. And oh my God, it was so well executed. And I saw people online after it too, saying, "I can't believe Vanessa turned on Fisk."
No, that's not what happened.
Did
you watch the same show?
Yeah.
You know what happened is she didn't trust the bro.
That was good.
That is well said, my friend. Now, do you guys want to hear my theory about Muse showing up in season 2 of Daredevil?
Yes, definitely. I want to.
So, I'm going to talk a little comic Muse. And the comic Muse is different than the Daredevil Born Again live Muse because one is a more grounded show. Comics can get a little more wacky. In the comics, he's supernatural. He's got, like, if you're following our back issue breakdowns that we talked about earlier, like his body sucks in sound and everything around him like a void. And at one point, Daredevil uses it to find him. He's like uses his senses to try to find this void so he can figure out where he is.
He doesn't feel a painting.
No, he does not. He does not. But he ends up. This character dies too, in the comics, and he goes to hell. Eventually, his soul escapes, and he kind of possesses a disturbed young woman named Morgan. And she is like, they're kind of, he doesn't completely possess her, but he's kind of there with her, and it's pretty creepy. But I think what's going to happen in this, I think Heather is going to take the mantle of Muse next season.
Ooh,
and I think it's going to be brought about by the trauma from what happened in her office when she shot and killed him.
Do you think it might create like a dual personality or something?
Possibly. I think it'll probably bring out this persona in her, like in kind of a schizophrenia something along those lines. And
that would be an amazing twist. And you know what would make it even better is if she is such a good therapist that she is like in complete denial. Like, there's no way I would see the signs. That can't be true. That's not me.
There's no way. And we talked about it on past, streams about how Matt's luck with the ladies ain't so good. They always turn out to be villains or die or heroin addicts. He does not have good luck. And I think that would be making Heather the next Muse in next season would show that off pretty well. That
that is really good. I like that theory.
How big of a character would Muse be in season 2?
It depends on where they're going with it all, and depends on what we get the final 2 episodes here, because we do know that from behind the scenes footage of season 2, Fisk is still mayor. He's still doing his whole thing, probably fighting against vigilantes everywhere he can. So I think it'll be a side, I don't want to say quest, but a side thing. It's not going to take part. It's not going to be all 9 episodes of season 2, but I think it's going to play a role in Matt Murdock's sort of character development to get where he needs to be by the end of season 2 for Doomsday.
So he's not supposed to be actually born again until the end of season 2, fully back to normal.
I think kind of born again was when he said F it too and put the costume back on. That was kind of born again.
Took it as.
But I think it will keep expounding, and you're right. Born again, I think his life that he has now with the practice that he has isn't going to be anymore by next season. They've hinted at this episode. She's like, he's got a full caseload, and he's constantly gone and doing things. So he's not going to be able to
fighting with Cherry because Cherry doesn't want him going back to this life.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've kind of hinted that he's going. Go ahead.
Yeah, he backburnered his whole law practice.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose it that way. Or she's going to partner up with somebody else, and then he's going to come back and say, why? And she's going to be like, you were always gone. Be like, I understand. And then, since Foggy was killed in front of a store front, that the address was 468, and that's the address, that's the cop issue that Foggy faked his death. Foggy's going to come back, and they're going to start their own law practice.
I can see that.
It's the only logical conclusion.
Yep.
Yeah, I could definitely see Matt creating like getting pushed out of this practice, having to make his own and be in another like dumpy little office space that needs severe repairs. Maybe he convinces if Foggy is actually still alive. I don't know. To me, I don't think for this show as grounded as it is, I don't think he is. But he's going to probably be pretty much on his own starting from scratch. And I think if we end up seeing more court scenes play out, I think it'll be funny to see him like in the middle of a suit where he's got to face off against, what's her name?
Oh, yeah, his partner. I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah.
That would be, I would like that. That'd be all right. He might become, because in the comics at one point, he does become a DA for a while.
Oh, okay.
They kind of force him to. But that's another story. Should we rate this episode, gentlemen? And do you guys have any other theories or anything you want to talk about before we jump into that?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
I want to do a teeny tiny back to the editing room for one scene of this show.
This episode? Okay, yeah.
Of this episode. One minor scene. Back to the editing room, but this requires that Sony doesn't exist and Marvel owns Spider-Man.
I love where this is going.
Okay. So, back in Muse's lair.
Son of a beat.
Oh, hello.
Did Muse come in your room?
Keep talking. I'll be back.
Anyway.
No, we gotta make sure you weren't attacked.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you were okay. Anyway, so back in Muse's lair, back when Matt is like feeling paintings because apparently they couldn't come up with something else. Okay, so we don't have him do that because we've agreed that's dumb. And they clearly had no other ideas. Like, we don't know how to get Matt to his girlfriend's office, make him feel a painting like it's Braille. That works. So instead, Sony doesn't own the rights to Spider-Man. And instead, because Spider-Man is also a crime fighter, and he obviously wouldn't be pressured by some sort of anti-vigilante thing, he would be out there on the hunt for Muse as well. And it would stand to reason that he, as smart as Peter Parker is, he would have also found the lair. And then as Matt is furiously trying to figure out where Muse is, we just see Spider-Man lower himself down on a web, notice the paintings, and say, "Oh, that woman's pretty." And then Matt says, "What? What are you talking about?" And then Peter describes her, and all of a sudden, now we get Matt's flashback of him feeling her face or taking a shower with her or whatever. And now he's like, "Oh, that description matches my super hot girlfriend. I should go find her." Better scene. Plus, we get Spider-Man.
Can we have Peter Parker going, "Oh, man, why don't I ever get a hot girlfriend?"
Right. Ah, that's right. Nobody remembers who I am. Ah. And then we see Vulture, and he says, "Hey there, Spider-Man." But that's for another.
Pizza tastes different over here.
I'm gonna have to get some friends if I'm taking on Spider-Man and Daredevil.
Come hang out with me and my friends.
But seriously, I was sitting there like trying to think when I'm watching that scene. I'm sitting there just trying to think, what are better ways this could have played out? Because to me, that was like, I loved pretty much this entire episode. That one scene bothered the hell out of me. I thought it could have been handled. Obviously, he was there, like I said earlier. He could have just heard them say, "This is like a picture of Dr. Glenn." Anything besides, and then showing us the flashback to him touching her face that morning. Right,
like,
because in case we didn't get it.
Yeah, I thought that was weak. Was that your review, Doug, or did you want to?
No, that was a teeny tiny back to the editing room. That's what the picture is going to say. By the way, this is still the image. It literally says teeny tiny back to the editing room, and it also all the other stuff that I just said. That's all in the entire. That's the whole image.
Yeah, I'll put up a running scroll while you're saying it.
And this was Doug's teeny tiny back to the editing room. That's all the words in this picture. That's right. You said it. You read it. It's the teeny tiny back to the editing room.
We know where it is in the thing because I knock over my webcam onto the floor.
That's right. That's the timing. All right. I will start the review process.
All right. You do it.
Just for those
rate
reasons,
the heck out of it.
Do it, Dave. Get it done.
I did like. I did kind of like the twist at the end with Vanessa. I know they were trying to trick us to make us think that she had gone against him, but that didn't, that was obviously not going to play out that way.
Very obvious.
Those two were like this,
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be, it's them against the world, even if that dude, who's the dude who shot him? What's his name?
Cashman. Or the one who was trying to shoot him?
No, not the trusted
The one who
bro.
took out Luca. Yeah, that was Cashman.
Yeah. Cashman. Even if he did something, it'd be those two against him. No matter what you see on the screen. So that part I like. They're pretty solid. They're gonna be hard to break up. If she's somehow gets killed or something. Just wait to see his reaction. But I don't know if we'll see that play out in any of the Marvel things they got coming up. But
Oh, Dave, I can tell you what happens. I actually saw that one already. So what he does is he creates a portal into another universe to try and find a copy of his wife and his son, and then a new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, gets involved.
oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah,
And he's gonna come in, and we're gonna have two Spider-Men.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's well thought out. That's Spider-Man 5,
I
right?
know. I just came up with it.
And for the reasons like I said, where they in my opinion they kind of killed off Muse pretty quick. I thought it would play out a little bit more like I said earlier, like there'd be a battle of the two big, the good and evil going after the same thing, and then there's a battle between them and Muse, and that's where I thought it was going. I gotta say I'm a little disappointed about that, but I'm interested to see where it's going. But because of those things, I couldn't rate it as high as I wanted to. So I'm just gonna give this episode a 6.
All right, all right.
Who's
Keith, you
next?
want to go next, or do you want me
Sure.
to?
I can go next. See,
All right.
I was enamored with this episode. I thought it really did a great job leading us into that. And while I was a little taken aback when they killed Muse off, I think it makes sense for the narrative of the show being more focused on the parallels between Matt and Wilson and them coming into their own. And I mean, it just is so well acted, well written. Everybody on the show just does a great job. Doug talked a little bit earlier about the therapist and her scene with Muse. She was great. Even the kid playing Muse was such a great job. He was creepy. He was thing. Obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio is always great. Michael Gandolfini is doing a great job as Don Blake, kind of being this wannabe sort of kingpin acolyte, or I don't want to use that term, kingpin lieutenant. And just everything going on. And then at the end, getting that, scene where is she turning on the kingpin? But you find out it was all a setup because Luca's not playing ball and, really kind of going against. And I was thinking about that, and it all is kind of like Vanessa and Kingpin are getting closer as he's becoming his true self again. He's no longer eating the chicken breast and the one strand of asparagus. He's eating the full Italian meals. His girth is building up that he doesn't fit in his suits anymore. And so they're getting closer together and going to be a tighter knit group from when they were separated. So I was like, man, this is great. This is what we need. I'm glad, in a sense, they didn't have the Muse go on too long. I thought this was kind of nice that he was there to kind of do what he needed to do, and now he's gone. We're probably going to get some iteration of it next season. I hope I'm right on my theory, because that would be cool and be devastating for Matt Murdock, which is all about Daredevil comics, pretty much is. So I'm
I would
going to
love
give,
that.
yeah, me too. So I'm going to give this episode an 8.2. I do think some of the other episodes were better, but I do think this is a tremendous episode.
So I mostly agree with you. So, Keith, I was about as blown away by this episode as Trustabro was at the end of the episode. And seriously, this was one of those where so many things kept, catching me off guard. I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that just happened. I mean, I should expect it at this point. I mean, it's Daredevil. I mean, it's a rated R show, but it's like there's this little voice in the back of my head that keeps saying, it's on Disney Plus. They're going to screw it up somehow. They're going
It's
to
weird
go
that the voice in the back of your head
PG-13.
sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Blood is bad. No violence. Huh? I keep getting caught off guard because I don't expect on Disney Plus there to be these super violent moments. That's why even in you brought up the Acolyte, and that got me thinking about it. Even in the Acolyte, when we had Smilo Ren going ham and lightsabering that dude in the chest 3 times, it's like, oh, it was one of those. So every time something crazy was happening on this episode, there was no time for me to, even if there was a moment where I'd be like, that was kind of dumb, they'd follow it up immediately with something crazy. Like the entire fight between Daredevil and Muse was like edge of my seat. I'm like, I'm waiting, like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? And when he like grabbed the knife and he was going to go after the doctor again, and then Daredevil uses his stick to like hook him and like pull him, like I'm just like, whoa, that is. I don't expect that out of a hero. A street level hero, sure, yeah, but it still took me aback because I'm like, oh my God, this is this is crazy. And I even the scenes where Matt is falling back into his old habits. I loved seeing, Matt revert back to the way that he was when he's hiding things and keeping secrets because he did the same exact thing to Foggy. He did the same exact thing to everybody else that he got close to. He always had, and I could tell it as soon as he had that dumb little, shit-eating grin on his face. I'm like, I've seen this Matt before. I've seen this before in the previous series, and I know exactly what he's doing. And so I hate to see his life fall apart, but like he does it to himself all the time. You even mentioned, Keith, that he has like the worst luck with women. And it's true. He's going to screw this up, and if it isn't screwed up by her own trauma eating into the middle of their relationship, it's going to be him constantly disappearing and doing Daredevil things, losing his practice, putting Daredevil in front of everything else, and then of course getting into the ultimate fight with Wilson Fisk. But yeah, just about everything in this episode, I loved every moment of it. I thought it was amazing. The only complaint that I had was that scene in Muse's lair where he's feeling the painting. I thought that was kind of dumb. But then they followed it up with him using his, popping the weapon in that dude's head. And I'm just like, oh, that was hilarious because it seemed so like accidental. Like it was just oh man, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I've got to go save my girlfriend. I hope you're okay. Put some ice on it. And I'm just like, it was just an overall great episode, and the ending sealed it for me. Not even for a second did I think Vanessa turned on him, but maybe that's just because like I know these characters too well. It's almost like I did an entire in focus on them. But yeah, we know for a fact that the only thing that actually could be considered a weakness for Wilson Fisk is his wife. He loves her so much that in the comics, she's very much against his life of crime and constantly is looking for him to give it up. And so if anything was going to, if at any point there was going to be her turning on him, it'd literally just be her like, hey, I'm going to leave you if you don't stop this bullshit. And then usually he always caves to her. So yeah, as soon as they're like, oh, he's sitting alone, I'm like, yeah, I don't buy it. This is a setup. And when they show Trust Bro going into the restaurant, and like what you pointed out, Wilson's back is to the door. It's like, okay, something is going to happen. I didn't know exactly how it was going to play out, but Wilson's not in trouble. Kingpin is not in trouble here. But the way they went about it, like how immediate it was and how calm Kingpin was, I'm just like, oh, that was like the perfect bow on this gift of an episode. So I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was amazing. This is a watch again. So good.
Excellent, excellent.
Excellent.
Are you guys ready to watch a little trailer that dropped yesterday? I was a little surprised since we know Star Wars Celebration is coming in a couple weeks. I did not think we would get anything about, May the 4th, Star Wars Day, but we got a little trailer early. Would you fine gentlemen like to take a peek at it?
Yes.
I would, even though I've actually already watched it like 13 times. But yes, I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, same. Don't tell anyone. All right, gentlemen.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious with strangers out here. Then again, you're no stranger, Lady Ventress.
We had heard that Ventress was coming back. I did not expect this entire trailer took me by surprise. I did not expect it to be Tales of the Underworld. I did not expect, if it was an Underworld, to be Ventress and Cad Bane. I don't know if we've seen them yet. I think, spoiler alert. But I was like, watched it, was like, wow, now that's the way to drop a trailer. No one talked about it coming, and it dropped and was just perfect.
And I was like, I hope they continue with that style of animation, and we get.
Thank you. I
another
was thinking
show.
the same thing, Dave.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or has it actually gotten better?
It's definitely gotten better.
It's definitely gotten better. It's gotten better since the beginning of the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, it has. You're right. I remember, going back and watching some of the earlier seasons of Clone Wars, and it looks so unfinished compared to the direction it finally went into. Like, it got better as it went along. I think it was at its peak at the end of the second end of Clone Wars.
Yes. The Battle of Mandalore.
And watching this trailer, oh my gosh, it looks phenomenal.
We got a problem here.
Just saw him right in.
What?
I love that how they introduce him is getting his hat and putting it on and then kind of raising his head up. If that's not
because everybody knows what that is.
If that's not the most Cad Bane thing ever, I don't know what is.
I'm glad that's not the last we saw of Cad Bane. Obviously, maybe in live action, that's the last we've seen of him, which is too bad because they made that look fantastic.
Oh, so much, yes.
The situation.
He was your best friend. Things have changed.
You took everything from me.
Who are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead
So is this
assassin.
supposed to be like a brother, a friend?
You know, it sounds like a friend. I don't know if it's a family member, but he's obviously they had a bunch of dealings. They were close, and he feels betrayed by this guy. And that's, getting a little more character development for Cad Bane, one of these bounty hunters, is always a good idea. It's just going to make him a fuller character. Things are going to. I'm hoping that this is a catapult to seeing something with Ventress, maybe Cad Bane, a new, which hopefully will be announced at a Star Wars Celebration in Japan in a few weeks. A new animated series, because I think Star Wars at its best right now is their animated series. So let's get an announcement. Bad Batch has been over for a year now, a little more a year. So we need something new. And we knew Dave Filoni had said Ventress was coming back after the Bad Batch. And we don't know if this is, it's obviously post, her stuff in the Clone Wars. But we don't know if it's before her appearance in the Bad Batch, after, or maybe a mix of both.
I don't want that life anymore.
We talked a lot about the parallels between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk in Daredevil Born Again, and we're kind of getting that with Cad Bane and Ventress here, because you see, obviously, that is a Inquisitor coming after her. It at least appears to be. We don't know. I shouldn't say we know that for sure, but it appears to be an Inquisitor coming after her. She's a Force user who is, former apprentice to Count
Which
Dooku.
sister is it?
The third sister, Keith?
It better not be. But it looks like someone different. It doesn't look like anyone we've seen yet, because that cape, we've talked about Spawn's cape looking good. When that cape is like fluttering behind, that's when I was just like, oh wow, now that is some darn good animation right there. It just looked cool.
Now, who is that kid?
There's been a lot of speculation about that.
Boba Fett?
No.
No?
No,
we've
because
seen Boba
we're-
Fett in animation.
Yeah, and wasn't he like a teenage? Didn't him and Ventress like team up on like a bounty?
Yes.
When he was like a teen or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this would still be in that time period.
Well, no, I think that was before she decided to join the rebellion, which I think it seemed like she was maybe a part of it.
I guess that's the next question. When is this set?
That's what we don't know.
That is true.
And honestly,
but it could very much be like all of these other Tales things where it goes through, several years. Like that. I think what these do best is do character development, because it really expanded on Dooku by showing him in his early years as like a younger Jedi, watching him, slowly evolve and change. And it was the same with Ahsoka. We saw her as a child growing up and, becoming one with the Force, and eventually learning to fight that Sith, and then, be able to cleanse a kyber crystal. So it was pretty darn cool, like just watching them go over the years. And I think that's what these particular animated series do best. They pick a character and they really develop them over time. So we might actually see some scenes of Ventress with Dooku, and then we might see her in another time period as she's doing bounties, and we might see her ultimately as now I don't know, not quite a Jedi, not a Sith, whatever in between.
A Skywalker.
A Skywalker, yeah. Back when that theory was way better than what we actually saw.
Oh, we got Ginger Fox, the horror queen, saying, "Yo, good day." On YouTube, good day. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. A lot of people are thinking it's is it Punta, the Saw Gerrera's, was it brother or something? I don't remember. But there's been some speculation online who that is. Obviously, he's carrying a lightsaber a little later in the trailer, but we can talk a little bit more about that when we get to that. Let's watch a little more, gents.
Thing? No one needs to die.
I just do love how they were going back and forth with those. Obviously, that's not going to how it's going to play out, at least I don't think, in the shorts that we're getting on May the 4th, because we're probably going to have, Ventress episodes and then Cad Bane episodes, kind of how we've gotten Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Jedi so far. But I just liked how they intertwined that right there. He's having his little standoff, his Old West shoot off, and, Ventress is going up against the Inquisitor, Sith, whatever it happens to be.
Sort of like how we saw in the Ahsoka portion, where it intertwined her doing her training, followed up by the ultimate standoff against the clones on that ship as it's fallen down to the planet.
Yep.
During Order 66, yeah. You know what, Keith? I do have one thing to say to you. Look, you can have all the theories you want, all right? You big old nerd. But I just have one thing to say, and that's a Cad shot first. And you ain't nothing you can say is going to prove me wrong. Han shot first and Cad shot first. There.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, young man.
Yes. Nothing wrong with it.
All right, back to the trailer, gents.
Get them.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
This revenge. I hope it was worth it.
It will be.
That's almost a Yoda line. I hope this revenge is worth it. It will be.
Mm-hmm.
You will be. I was like, oh man. And
Will be.
all of that right there, the action looked intense and amazing. I cannot wait for this. I've enjoyed both the Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. I hope they keep doing this because they have done. And Dave Filoni is the writer, producer, executive producer on this. So, this is something he's wanted to do. So I'm looking forward to it, I know a lot of people.
I got to say something about that because, oh boy, I got to stop going onto Reddit or joining these Facebook groups because there's some volatile people out there. Like I thought the Snyder bots were, annoying whenever anything gets posted at all about the new Superman. But apparently there's an entire subset of Star Wars fans, very heavy quotes, that seem to think Dave Filoni is incapable of doing anything unless George Lucas is giving him all of his ideas. And so they are convinced that anything that is good Star Wars related, if Dave Filoni is attached, technically he didn't do anything and George Lucas actually did it all.
Oh, dear God.
Just recently started seeing this because as soon as this Tales of the Underworld thing dropped, all this stuff is popping up. I'm like, oh boy, what are people saying about it? Because it looks really good. Filoni's a hack. Huh? Like, did we watch the same trailer? What are you talking about? This only exists because of George. George Lucas had this planned back in 1973. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's funny too because we'll be talking about the Superman extended little view that was posted today online, which was only supposed to be in front of the Minecraft movie, but whoops, it leaked, so they just released it. Thank you, DC. We appreciate that. Thank you, DC Studios. And obviously, some of the Snyder people were not happy with it, but we'll talk about that in a minute because,
right?
The fact that people if people really think Filoni is a hack, I mean, I don't know what they're watching. Is a guy batting 1,000? No. But man, the stuff he's done has been some of the best Star Wars post, Disney acquisition that we've gotten and pre-acquisition. I mean, he's been a Star Wars fan and turned into a Star Wars creator that has just been doing what we've all enjoyed. There's been some misses on Star Wars, in recent times, but not because of Dave Filoni.
And I should clarify something. I love George Lucas. We wouldn't have Star Wars if it weren't for George Lucas. I'm not saying, that he's bad or anything. Like, I'm not trying to compare him to Zack Snyder. Do not get me wrong. He's nothing like that. He's not great at dialogue. He's not always super good at character development, but he is amazing at character creation and world building. Again,
and
we would not
stories.
have these. And
he's a great storyteller.
He's really good at that. Again, he does get. He's a little like George R. R. Martin, where he gets a little too into the weeds, a bit too over detailed sometimes. If you go back and you look at some of the original scripts for his what is it? What was it called? Like Tale of the Wills or something? I think it was.
Yeah.
Original
Keeper of
name.
the Wills or something.
Yeah, it's like Luke Starkiller and the Keeper of the Wills or something. I think that was like the full title of the original Star Wars film. And I think he's even admitted, if we would have went with my original plan, it would have been a 6-hour-long movie. So,
Release the Luke is
really,
cut.
really good.
Release the Luke is cut. Release the Luke is cut.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, he's super good at like coming up with these ideas and everything. But guess what? So are other people. Like Dave Filoni is really good at this stuff too. And just saying that he's like that he's a hack, saying that he's incapable of doing this stuff. I mean, you got to watch some of the stuff that they've come up with since then. Like, I'd say The Mandalorian. What's that, Dave?
We just got rated.
Oh, we did? By who? Oh, Fair Hero. Wow, he's rating us.
Thank you. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, Raiders. We're not your status quo. We are fellow nerds. We talk about all things nerdy. We talk about the MCU. We talk about the DCU, Star Wars, all that good stuff. We were talking about Daredevil Born Again earlier. We're talking about the Tales of the Empire trailer that dropped for Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Yeah, Tales of the Underworld, not Tales of the Empire. That was an old one. And we're going to talk about some of the CinemaCon stuff. So join us, Join us in the chat. We love talking to people. We appreciate the raid, Pharaoh Hero. We saw you playing Marvel Rivals earlier, and I hope you did well. Hope you had fun. Oh, yep. Saw you all was live. Just finished playing some Rivals. Who's your main, Pharaoh Hero? Who's your main in Rivals? That's a youthful vernacular for what character do you play with?
I would have never figured that out, man. Never.
I explained it for you, Dave.
I understood that reference.
Yay.
Okay, boomer.
All right, but, like I was saying, that was a great trailer. That got me excited for this coming out May the 4th. Should be good stuff. Can't wait to see it.
I am really looking forward to it. Do you have any theories on the kid so far?
I don't. I was trying to come up with any, and, who could it be? I hope it's just some random kid that she senses has the Force or something. Or, well, I should say, the only theory I had isn't who he is, but that he is a Force-sensitive kid that they are trying to get to maybe join the Inquisitors or something. And she steps in and saves him, and then kind of is with him for a bit, maybe giving him some training and stuff. But I don't think he's going to be anyone we've met before, or a descendant of Obi-Wan, or a Skywalker or something like that.
I hope not.
He's going to be like a Cal Kestis. He's going to be like a kid that just has some sensitivity to the Force that she probably saves from being, grabbed by an Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was thinking, and I really hope that that's the case. I am so tired of all of the Jedi that appear all being related to one another. It could just be some random kid named, Kreef Durgon. I don't know.
Kreef.
Caleb Doom. Oh, wait, no, that's already somebody.
Or Apollo Kreef.
Yeah, there you go. Apollo Kreef.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers.
Oh.
So sorry.
Oh, and let's see. Pharaoh Hero says for Tank, Penny, for DPS, Squirrel Girl, and Torch, and for support, Loki, Cloak and Dagger, and Invisible Woman. But we'll snap to Ultron when he drops for support. Yes, Ultron is coming to Marvel Rivals, I believe, in a couple weeks. April 11th or something? I saw that today. Yeah, that'll be nice. I don't play nearly enough. I need to get into it more, which probably will happen when Wonder Man drops, when the show drops. You know what I'm saying? Next Friday, Ultron and Emma Frost. Oh, that's right. It is. Yeah, next Friday. Cool. Thank you, sir. Now, are you guys ready?
I had to uninstall a bunch of games off my computer. I was running out of room. Hard drive space just ain't what it used to be.
I know that. I wonder if that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to clean up my hard drive a little bit. That might have been the issues I was having earlier. But are you guys ready to talk a little Superman?
Yes, I am, because I have thoughts on that. I did already watch this. I know, surprise, and I have a few thoughts on it.
We're not going to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Because we know what Warner Brothers does with us showing footage.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, then, should we give a descriptive play-by-play?
Yes, that is what I think would be a good plan here.
All right. So we've already actually seen part of this before in the trailer or teaser or whatever they want to call it that dropped earlier with Crypto. But in this, we actually see a much more drawn out version of that scene. Clark crash lands to Earth near where the Fortress of Solitude is. And he's clearly very beaten up. I don't know who he was fighting or what kind of fight he was in, but he's clearly very injured, So whoever this was very tough. And so he calls Crypto to him. And in the original trailer that we saw, Crypto immediately grabs the cape, drags him off to safety. That is not what is in this sort of extended little teaser clip. Instead, we get Crypto jumping on him and being very much a puppy. And so yeah. I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like every other, just a dog with superpowers. Wonderful. I mean, on one hand, it does ground it a bit more, and it feels very James Gunn. The entire thing was a little cartoony for my taste, but it felt very James Gunn-like, and I'm just like, Okay, yeah, of course, if we're gonna have a super dog, he's gonna have it act as much like a dog as he can. And it made me think about Cosmo in Guardians of the Galaxy being so upset at being called a bad dog. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that is exactly what James Gunn would do. Okay, that tracks. But I will say I was very impressed by the Fortress of Solitude appearing. I thought that was a great little thing. I mean, having it rise out like that, instead of just always being there. I love the fact that it's like hidden until Superman approaches. I thought that was really cool. I loved seeing the little like robot servants. You only ever see that like in the comics. I thought that was kind of neat.
You know, one thing James Gunn had talked about when he took on Superman, he's like, I was a really big fan of the Silver Age of Superman and the science fiction-y type stuff of all of that. And man, if this cemented, if anything cemented his love of the Silver Age and sort of science fiction-y Superman, this was it. I was blown away. I was like, I'm fired up for this, and I'm more fired up now. We still got 3 months to go. I realized that after I watched it. I was like, we got 3 months to go till we can see it. It's gonna take forever. I'll just watch some small reruns.
Yeah, well, while it was a good trailer, it was just like it still didn't really reveal any more of the plot, which is cool because it still kept me hype.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
still kept me hype, but I still didn't learn anything else really about what's gonna happen, which is really cool. And we got to see Nathan Fillion again.
Yep. Yeah, so like after they do the whole, the robots bring him, strap him to the thing and blast him with sunlight, and was that hurting him? I didn't understand that.
It was healing him rapidly.
Yeah, I think because he's had broken bones and stuff, the healing process was a little painful because it was mending bone and things of that nature.
That tracks. But yeah, after that, then it's... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
No, it's like you said, but who is he fighting? It can't be somebody from Earth, and it's not going to be Batman.
I was sitting there trying to...
If we're to believe the rumors about it's a clone that Lex Luthor made.
Oh.
That is Kryptonian, basically. Because you see it in the trailer, in the original trailer. They're on the field, the Cleveland baseball field. The progressive field. And he's like shoving Superman. And he's got like a black suit, and there was behind the scene footages of like a hooded figure with a U on it. People were thinking it was Ultraman, who is like a multiversal Superman, who was kind of bad. But it's not multiversal, and pretty much the running theory is it's a clone of Superman that Lex Luthor created.
Isn't Ultraman also the name of the crime syndicate version of Superman?
Is it? It might be.
I thought it was.
Yeah, he's in season 10 of Smallville, and he has gold kryptonite can take away his powers forever.
Tomorrow, it's fine.
Gold kryptonite? Really?
Gold kryptonite, yes, sir.
Interesting. I never knew that. Remind me, Dave, for after we're done, I have a Smallville question for you.
Okay. And remember, that was a Smallville reference, Keith, if you missed it. Gotta get that in there.
Gotta get it in. But yeah, I kind of like how this was just a bit of like an extended bit of the beginning of it, because then it kind of just bleeds into the rest of the trailer that we already saw. And yeah, you're right. We did get to see Nathan Fillion again, and we got to see my favorite scene, I think, in the original trailer. And I cannot say this enough, how important this is. Seeing Superman rush to save that girl, put his hand over her to protect her, that is Superman. That is the Superman we've been missing. That's the one that we need. One who saves people. Because he is first and foremost, he's a hero. Sometimes I think these movies and TV shows forget that.
No, you're right.
Yeah, they just think of the next badass move they can make, rather than actually saving people.
Yeah, no, I want to see more of that. I don't care if we miss out on him like punching an alien to death. If I get to see him be Superman and save people, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but maybe that's like my hidden kink. I just want to see him be a good guy and save people. I love seeing scenes like that. Like little inner tear will well up and be like, there you go, you get him, Superman. That's right, you save those people.
I mean, Christopher Reeve did it, right in the middle of his fight. And he's stopping and he says, remember, that flying is still the safest way to travel. He's out there giving advice there in the middle of a fight.
Don't worry, ma'am. I've got you. You've got me, but who's got you? And just so you know, after this dropped today, James Gunn threaded. Is that what?
Weaved a thread.
Yes, weaved a thread that said, "Thank you so much. Though I don't consider it a trailer, more a sneak peek, I guess. I've actually just finished up the next trailer for you all now, and oh boy, am I excited for you to see it."
Wait, he's editing the trailer together?
Yes.
That's almost unheard of. Usually they hire separate people to do that.
Yeah, it's like a marketing firm or something. That
He's being very, very hands-on.
Well, I think
Well, it should be. I mean, look how they ruined Captain America. They ruined the
true.
Red Hulk reveal, So, yeah, if he's hands-on like that and he doesn't want us to learn certain things in the trailer, well, the good...
I did read about that. That was not the fault of the firm that put together the trailer. That was Disney.
They thought
they
the
were
movie
under the
would not do
assumption
good
that
if-
they didn't think it was going to do good. So they thought, okay, well, we'll get butts and seats if we reveal that Hulk's going to be in it. Red Hulk is going to be in it.
That's cheesy as all get out.
Yeah, that's... Trust the process.
Yes.
All right, we got... hold on a sec. We got a little more news at CinemaCon today.
Ooh, all right.
We're talking Fantastic Four.
Ah.
So, there was some footage shown. And basically, this is...
And you got it?
No.
Oh.
But a retelling of it. So the citizens of this, the city are like, "Thank you, Fantastic Four," paying tribute to their favorite heroes. And the four meet up in an apartment, and the Thing asks the Invisible Girl, "Are you pregnant?" And Invisible Woman says, "We can do this. Nothing is going to change," to Reed. So obviously she's pregnant with Franklin, which a lot of hinting has gone on about, but they haven't confirmed it. People think in the wide shot of the first trailer, you can see her belly. And then we get our first look at the Silver Surfer, who comes in and says, "Your planet is now left for dead." And she's fully chrome from head to toe. And then...
So the effects are finished for that scene?
It sounds like a yes. And then the Invisible Woman says, "We will fight it together as a family. And we will protect you," promises Pedro Pascal. The Silver Surfer flashes past the screen. Cut to title. So it sounds like after this, I wasn't sure if we would get a shot of the Silver Surfer in the second or the full trailer that releases. But I think we are going to now. Since they showed it here, I do think when the next trailer drops, we will get Silver Surfer footage, which I'm excited for because that sounds cool.
I saw one of Stan Lee's favorite characters to write was Silver Surfer.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Did he say why? I wonder why.
Yeah, but I can't remember. It was basically because he could come to a planet and not be involved in any of the politics or anything. Just judge.
He was the
from
messenger.
afar. Yeah, judge from afar
Mm-hmm.
who's good and who's bad.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. All right. We got some Doomsday information.
Okay.
So Kevin Feige showed up in a video from the set of Doomsday and did confirm that not all of the cast members have been revealed yet. And whether that's because their contracts aren't in place yet or not, who knows. But he also said that basically this movie is going to be the Avengers, the Wakandans, the X-Men, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, all taking on Doom. So a lot of the rumors that we have heard about, the TVA, Doom going after the TVA, all this other stuff, might not be true. So, once again, I think he's probably hiding a few things. He's not going to give away the entire plot at CinemaCon even before the actual filming starts. They're just, in production right now, building sets and all that good stuff. So, they're still getting that thing. It's still set to be released next May, which I think is...
That seems way too soon.
It does.
Considering, like, they haven't
does.
really started anything yet.
It's ambitious.
That's one way of putting it. I think overly optimistic, maybe dangerously confident. Considering how many times have they like already done this where they've announced all this stuff and then it like totally peters out.
If I was a CGI special effects person, I'd be a little worried about my work-life balance coming up in a few months.
Right.
All right, who's looking forward to 12-hour shifts? Are we getting paid more? No!
Now, you remember in phases 1 through 3, they seemed to do a movie every 2 movies a year, and they would be 2 years ahead in production. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then they hit, what was it? I guess it was phase 4 when they were trying to throw out like 3 movies a year, 3 or 4 movies a year. And that's where they fell behind. Well, hopefully they aren't over-promising on getting this done by next year.
I think they might be.
I think a delay announcement is inevitable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I just thought of our next short.
What's that?
We have you saying that a delay is inevitable, followed by Thanos. I am inevitable. Just the word film delay over his head.
Doomsday film delay. I am inevitable. I like it. All right. They also showed Thunderbolts asterisk footage, which I didn't get a description of fully like I did for the Fantastic Four. Basically, they said it was Red Guardian and Bucky kind of bonding a little bit. Cool. And doing some stuff. They said it looked great.
I love the way they play off each other.
Yep. Someone described it as the espionage type movie we should have got in Black Widow, which made me say, okay, now I'm even more excited for this movie than I was. Everything this movie has done has gotten me more hyped for it. I mean, when they first announced it, I was like, it's not going to be Zemo and the Thunderbolts I love from the comics, so I don't know. But like everything they've done has been pretty good. And the one thing that made me laugh...
That's why it's got the asterisk there, Keith, because it's not your daddy's Thunderbolts.
The one thing that I did read that made me laugh, at one part in the footage, Val calls U.S. agent a junior varsity Captain America.
That's good.
And I cannot wait to hear Julia Louis-Dreyfus deliver that line to poor Wyatt Russell. Right. Because that is great.
I am really looking forward to this movie.
He won't take it as seriously as he would have in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. I think he's going to take it a little more comically.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I think they rip on him a lot in this movie, so I think he's just like, yeah, I get it. Yes, I know. I'm not Steve Rogers. You're not Steve Rogers, kid. Yeah. All right.
How many freaking characters did they create out of trying to reproduce the soldier serum, super soldier serum?
Too many.
Yeah, way too many. But you got it. The one thing I always liked about that is, of course, everyone would be trying to reproduce that to get the next, Steve Rogers. Mm-hmm. We know how countries and governments operate. They want that thing that'll put them above everybody else. But
it's like the atomic bomb.
Yep.
Everybody's
very
trying
much
to get
so.
their own because that's going to be the ultimate deterrent. Well, I have a super soldier too.
Ha-ha.
And we have a Hulk.
We've got the Red Guardian.
Well, that's where the Hulk came from. All right.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, the Hulk is also a result of trying to recreate the serum.
Yep. And another character in this movie, that's his backstory as well. We haven't really seen him in any of the previews, though.
In Thunderbolts?
Right. he has been in there, but he hasn't really been shown off as like being a main character.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. I'm just trying not to say it out loud. That's all.
Oh, no spoilers. All right.
Right, Keith? You know who I'm talking about, and it's not Wonder Man.
Oh, then I don't know who you're talking about.
Big S on his chest.
I
or
know
his
who
belt.
you're talking about. The funny thing is, I don't know if you guys saw this. I was kind of shocked by
What
this.
happened there?
They have a Sentry figure coming out that shows off the suit from the movie already.
Really?
Yeah, they released it. I saw
That's
it.
dumb.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. I did not want to see that till I was in the theater. But
That has
looks
happened
good.
way too many times.
I know. That's why, shockingly, Disney didn't put out any Grogu figures before season 1 of The Mandalorian, because you know that
Oh,
would've
and
got
you
leaked.
know that killed them inside.
But it
Oh,
was
yeah.
They
genius.
wanted to.
100% they wanted to. All right. Are you guys ready for the Star Wars news from CinemaCon?
Oh?
I don't know if I can take it.
No news or footage from Star Wars movies.
I
We're
don't know if
presented
I-
at CinemaCon. It seems like everything is being saved for Star Wars Celebration Japan in a few weeks.
I wish that we had the kind of like clout to get invited to that because that would be so sick.
That would be really freaking awesome. And now the other thing I wanted to talk about, obviously not some, well, we kind of talked about this stuff before.
All right.
At the Disney presentation today,
Mm-hmm.
Predator Badlands. They showed some footage.
Okay.
The film follows an outcast predator and aims to answer the question, what if the predator was a good guy?
Predator is a good guy. He always gives them a weapon at the end of the movie. He's really friendly when it's all over.
Well, now there was Alien versus Predator, your guys' favorite movie, and in that one, they revealed that sometimes the Predator can be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna team up with these humans, and we're gonna fight the alien together." Heck yeah, fist bump.
Yeah, man. My sideways jaw will thank you.
And that is all
Oh,
from our beloved CinemaCon.
can I say, and I'm sure you guys will probably disagree with me, but the more that I have been hearing about Avengers Doomsday, the lower my hype level drops. Like, so much nonsense. All these, the stupid chair reveal thing, we're gonna literally put every character that's ever been in Marvel Comics, and it's just like, at this point, I don't care. I don't even care. I really wish they would have held off until they actually had some of the movie already started. Like, if they had already started production, already started filming, I wish I would have waited until then to start revealing some of this stuff. But this slow burn of, oh yeah, it's going to be this huge mega event because it worked so well in Endgame, I assume, is why they're doing it, because nothing is original. And they got to keep redoing the same thing until something works.
Well, once again, we do know that Disney was like, we need more Avengers films. Though, why are we not getting more Avengers films? They always do $1 billion. Why aren't we getting more Avengers
So they're only
films?
doing it for the money then. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's all anyone makes movies for, basically. I mean, but
I mean, it sounds like it's so creatively bankrupt. Like they're just like, you know what makes a good movie? Having 800 characters in it at the same time. Like, as I'm hearing more about this, I'm like, I don't know that I want to see this now. And I can't imagine. It's so weird saying that about an Avengers movie.
These movies with a cast of thousands are rarely done right.
Mm-hmm.
So far, they have been done right by the Russos. That's the only reason I have any faith. But, to add to the people, and then, in the gaps in the characters that were already announced, And then if they're going to announce another 5 or whatever, are they going to be the ones we're all expecting? Are we going to get Captain Hydra? Is that what we're going to get? And it's stuff that we're all expecting already.
Well, the thing is, like, when it comes to a bunch of characters, I expect that for Secret Wars. I don't really expect that for Doomsday that much. I do for Secret Wars. To me, that makes more sense. But if they're going to keep doing that, that's going to be the new thing they do for these Avengers movies going forward. Oh, well, we did it in Endgame. We did it in Infinity War and Endgame. We got to do it again. We're going to, everybody loved that portal open moment and everybody rushing out and the audience cheered. But the thing is, if they keep doing that in all of these movies, it's not special anymore.
Yeah. That is the one thing I am worried about, is that we're never, just like I'm worried about with Spider-Man, they're never going to do a street-level Spider-Man movie because, oh my God, No Way Home.
They think it all needs to be multiversal stuff.
It's all multiverse and all these characters and everyone loved it. We got to build something bigger than that in every Avengers film. It'll never be just the Avengers versus Ultron again or something along those lines, because it needs to be I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I do worry about that at times. And for me, with all this stuff that they're doing, I look at this as it's Disney marketing saying we got to start getting the word out on this and getting the hype out. So the whole chair thing, as I was watching it, I'm like, this doesn't say what they're planning for the movie. And I hope, the Russos and Steve McFeely or whatever his name is, who wrote it, who did all the revisions and stuff, or completely changed it, I don't think we know, is focusing on what they do best and characters, and this is a good movie. I'm holding off any hype changes till we see footage. I want that first trailer to see what the feels like and what it looks like. Please do not ruin this. I mean, this failing could ruin like the MCU. We may not get much after that. And
they may end up having to do a huge reboot event.
Yeah. And I want the mutants. I want the X-Men. I'm ready for it. We need some high quality X-Men movies, and
yes,
don't screw this up.
I recently watched, I've mentioned this guy's YouTube channel before, but I watched Cosmonaut Variety Hour, and he did a rewatch of every X-Men movie and X-Men adjacent movie that they've made. And you could see like the quality, like a slider down as he's like watching the next movie, and then he ended, of course, with
Dark Phoenix.
Oh my gosh, what? No, the one that came after that. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, what was it called again? The others. It was the kids that were in the mental hospital. Or whatever.
New Mutants.
New Mutants, that was it. Yes, I couldn't even remember the name of it. It was so friggin' forgettable. So he ended with that. Like you would think he would end with how bad Dark Phoenix was, and he even like teased it. He's like, oh man, it's a good thing that there are no more. I got you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about New Mutants now.
The worst thing about New Mutants and how bad it was is they ruined casting what's her name as Magic.
Oh, from Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh.
What the heck's her name?
Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, Anna Taylor-Joy.
Oh.
She was perfect as Magic. I hope she continues that role in anything else, because she embodied that character. Everything else about that movie, the other characters, the writing and everything else was just wretched. I remember I watched that movie.
Bear?
What?
The cocaine bear that was in it?
Yeah. It's supposed to be Demon Bear, which was such a great saga in the comics. And they just, shockingly, weirdly, an X-Men movie
totally dropped
took
the ball?
a great arc from the comics and ruined it. How is that possible? How do you score 0? The odds are you're going to do something right at some point. How do they keep doing this?
Speaking of Anya Taylor-Joy, what do you guys think of the rumor going around that she's been cast as Black Cat for the new Spider-Man movie?
I think that's people getting clicks. I do not think that's true at all. I
saw that floating around today, and I'm like, I don't know. I can't see that.
She would probably do good at it, but I don't.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's a perfectly good actress. Yeah, for sure.
Whenever
guys, No, go ahead and finish that.
I was just
thought.
gonna say,
I'm fine.
whenever I see that and I start looking around who's all saying it, and it's nothing but these little Twitter accounts and not any sort of established
No one
variety, the
legitimate.
Hollywood Reporter, yeah, no one legitimate. I'm like, they're just getting clicks. I'm good.
Yeah.
Now that could change, and maybe she's in it, but we know Sadie Sink is supposed to be in it, and I don't know. They're not. They probably want every Spider-Man every cartoon Spider-Man, every live action Spider-Man. We need to top No Way Home.
Be another multiverse story.
Which
Then
People are
everyone will
gonna
get their
love
memory
it.
back, and they'll all know he's Peter. And then they're gonna have to get it at the end of the next one, and they're gonna stop it again.
And then we're also going to do another Green Goblin again. And also, you know what? We're just doing a whole Sinister Six. We're doing Sinister Six.
Yes.
Fuck it.
No build up,
No build-up.
no Vaseline.
None
just
at all.
Right in there.
We're using butter.
I didn't know
You
it was
brought a
Friday
full
night.
circle.
Fists. Oh yeah, it sounds like every Tuesday night. Anyway, let's talk Comic-Con. Have you guys looked into who the special guests are at Comic-Con? And,
Oh, at Motor City Comic-Con?
Yes.
I haven't looked at it in a while. I looked at it like maybe I think a month ago, and it seemed, as of then, it seemed like slim pickings. Like there wasn't very many people. How much has it changed?
Well,
I
let
haven't
me
looked at
tell you.
this. All right.
We got Jeremy Renner. There's a couple others. I'll read the famous people as well.
All right,
Bill
all
Nye,
right.
Laura Prepon, Martin Sheen. I don't know why he would be there.
Sheen, huh?
Ray Wilson.
Isn't he in that Only Murders?
No, Martin
Only
Sheen
Murder.
is not at
No,
Only
in
Murders.
the hotel.
Steve
No,
Martin's in it.
that's
Mm,
Steve
okay.
Martin and Martin Short.
Yeah, Martin Short.
Ah,
yeah, there you go.
That's who I confused him with.
Rainn Wilson, Sean Astin, Jon Bernthal will be there. Let's see here. Vincent D'Onofrio will be there. Yeah, that's the same.
Really?
reaction
Vincent
as
D'Onofrio? Really?
Yep. Let's see. Famke Janssen, Bryce Dallas Howard for all you Keith fans. Let's see here. Christina Ricci.
Nice.
I would like to go meet her. That'd be great.
Mhm.
Robert Picardo, which if you saw him, you'd know who he was.
Okay.
And Sam Witwer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh
No.
man.
Oh man.
We need to go.
Sam Witwer, is he doing is it just those the stupid you gotta wait in a long ass line for a photograph, or is he doing autographs too?
See, he's doing autographs.
Oh,
Photos
dude.
And autographs. And
Oh my god.
Autograph memorabilia. If you want to take a selfie with your own phone, that's $50.
Shit. So expensive.
I know. That's the only reason I don't do it sometimes, but this seems like a really good lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know if there's any new tariffs on autographs?
15%.
Oh god.
You see, there was an island only occupied by yeah, okay, I
Penguins.
won't have to say the rest of it. Yeah, penguins, and they're getting this tariff.
Oh man. Well, it's getting late. I do think we're going to have to talk about Motor City Comic Con some more, because the guest lists have definitely changed since last time I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
That sounds really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Tiny Valkyr. We got Graduating. The Star
Is
Wars
TG still on?
Underground. TG's not still
No.
on, no.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got those two.
Yeah, I'm good with Tiny Velker if you guys are.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And for anybody wondering what we are about to do, we're getting ready to raid. We're getting ready to raid Tiny Velker. It's a little thing that we can do over on Twitch. It's our way of showing love to other creators out on the Twitch sphere that we really like. And in this case, we're going to be raiding Tiny Velker, another friend of the channel, if you will. And yeah, we're going to be sending all of our folks over to her. Everybody that is watching us on Twitch gets to come with us as we take a little journey over to her channel where she is playing Marvel Rivals. Now, we wish we could do something like that on YouTube, but YouTube is dumb and doesn't really have anything feasible that works quite as well as rating. So in the off chance that you are watching us on YouTube and not Twitch, then please show us some love by hitting that like, subscribing if you aren't already, share, and most importantly, please comment down below, show us some love. Anything like that doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out. It lets YouTube know that you like us as much as we like us. Hey, fellow, enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.